stopping us tonight. To a place called Luther Place, where we learned a lot about issues related to homelessness and poverty and gentrification and all sorts of things that we learned about. Our youth works crew, middle school students, they were in 6th, 7th, or 8th grade last year, went to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and served with youth works. Because our kids are so busy, and some are off to college, and some are teaching Sunday school, and some aren't able to be here today, we did something a little bit different. We wanted you to be able to hear from more of the students. And so while we were gone this summer, we took video clips so that you could see all of these students, but also so that you could hear their stories and their reflections when they were really fresh in their mind. And so we're going to share some of those videos that we've pulled together this morning. Before I do that, I want to recognize any of the trip participants that are here. So those of you that went to DC, stand up. All right. Yes, Candy sees people she knows. Okay, thank you. And those of you that went to Green Bay with youth works, are you in here yet? There's some of you. Welcome. Well, we're so glad you're here. I know more are coming in as we get started. We also have a special guest with us today, Candi Darley. She shared some during our first worship service, and she will share some of her story again later. But Candi, greet to everybody. So Candi's going to share some more of her story in a little bit. But first, I want you to hear about our trip to Washington, D.C. from the voices of our high school students and chaplains.
We took a tour of the neighborhood around the place that church that we're staying at, and basically one of the hosts that took care of us at the church, they told us a lot about the neighborhood and what the problems were within the neighborhood, and it kind of was more of a learning opportunity than a service opportunity, but it was really important to us and just kind of knowing more about DC and the problems that DC faces with the
We learned that about the story called gentrification, which happens when a lot of development happens in the neighborhood and like increases the prices of rent, and so it makes it harder for the poor people who are already struggling to live in neighborhoods, and then they get kind of pushed out or they can become homeless.
Shepard Parkway this week, we helped pick up trash and previously used as a dump for in the neighborhood who's directly not picked up by the city. And so we just throw everything down this really steep slope. And so our job was to pick that up and we're just restored to like a national park. The hill looked like a cliff when we first got there, and we were like, how are we going to get down there? And worked as a team and got it done.
All of the youth, plus the adult leaders, literally had to come up with a way to get a ton of trash down up from a very steep cliff. And it was amazing how the team worked together against some pretty significant odds and some pretty significant.
The main thing that I myself did was bringing the full bags of trash up to the top of the hill and then going back down and continuing that process. To get back up the hill, I had to jump my way up like an antelope with on tree branches, and that was interesting and fun.
When I was at the Weather Circle, I was tasked with restoring and testing electronic software given to people who were trying to recover from homelessness and were basically trying to get back on their feet. Plug some stuff in, and when it wasn't working, we had to take it apart and figure out why it wasn't working and make it work. Just because we didn't want to waste anything or throw anything away that we given to
We
us.
tested TVs and DVD players and radios and phones, all kinds of just random technology. I really enjoyed working with technology, so it was something that I felt comfortable with, and I enjoyed doing it. So it never got, I've done it all day, and it never got old.
conditioning unit that no one thought we could actually fix, but we ended up taking it apart and we turned it on and it started working, so that was pretty awesome. Here at Capital Area Food Bank, we were tasked with sorting different goods that had been donated in these huge pallets of boxes.
We took things out of the boxes that were in donation and we sorted them out into the different bins that we had. And there were a lot of things, like different kinds of things, and like tomato sauce and candy and snacks and medicine and things like that. And then we had to back them up from the bins and put them in like boxes. It was easier because for one person to do it, it would have been hard, because I mean, we had a lot of stuff done with all of us there. But it was helpful because all the food and stuff goes to the people that need it.
So at the hunger simulation, that was at a place called Capital Area Food Bank, and we had a wonderful lady named Amanda, and she basically took us through the process of how we would, or how some kind of people get their food or food stamps or emergency funds for their food. Well, for our hunger simulation, we received information about a person who would be in poverty and needing assistance to buy food. And at first when I got it, looked at the amount of money that she was making, I thought, okay, this kind of food, she can make it work. And then food is kind of a last thought after, rent, transportation, emergency funds, childcare.
We went to the government and different organizations and trying to qualify for different things. Even after all the paperwork was done, we still had to take our money and go to food shelf, and food that was there was not expensive, but it was limited as to what you could get, and it was varied every day.
In hunger simulation, we had to get money so we could buy food for our person's family. And I don't really get the food stamps, but I recommend that bread and t-shirt. But I had to leave the person and his wife.
I knew it would be very, very hard, but I hadn't realized how difficult it was to get help.
Jarvis Place was a place where they served breakfast to anyone that needed it. And they had volunteers come in and help serve breakfast. And they also had volunteers that did all the coats and also just talked to the people that came in.
At Charlie's Place, I served coffee, and if anybody needed like a toiletry, like a toothbrush or toothpaste, I gave it to them, and if they wanted vitamins, I gave them vitamins, and just help them get a great day to start up to the day.
Jarvis Place was not really what I expected. When I know the homeless people, I kind of think of them as kind of hostile and rash, but all the people I talked to were really kind. That's what a lot of those people needed, just to be heard and recognized.
When I was at Charlie's Place, I talked to a man named Tony. And he had been homeless for 4 years, and he didn't like shelter, so he spent every day on the streets. He did most of the talking. I think he just wanted someone to talk to, mostly just about everything. He told me what he liked, what he didn't like. We talked about God. In peer ministry, we learned about wheat, which is how you do conversations, and it's where hobbies, activities, acquaintances, entertainment, and travel. And so when we were at Charlie's Place, we had to sit down and talk to a bunch of people that we didn't know. I used that to start conversations with them and be able to get to know them better. At Charlie's Place, we were organizing and handing out clothes for the homeless. Back in the area where I was selling clothes, it was very small, but there was a lot packed in there. And we kind of had to figure out a system on where to put everything and then how to hand out things quickly to everybody.
Candi was a lady who works for the National Coalition for the Homeless. She came in and talked to us
she had such a normal life, and it changed in an instant almost. And so I'm really happy that she was very frank with us, because that's what we need a lot of the time, especially in our faith. And she just is an amazing woman, and going through her homelessness and still coming out like she is now, I think is amazing.
I know the last time you were here, we made outreach care packages to give to some of the people in one of the parks next to our church, and we packed it with just everyday essentials such as socks, t-shirts, toothbrushes, toothpaste, shampoos, conditioners, just everything that basically we take for granted that they might not have.
It made me a little bit uncomfortable during the start of giving packages to the homeless gentlemen and ladies that we met. As we went through it, I was more comfortable with it because they were happy, seeing their smiles just made us happy when we were actually making a difference in their lives.
To make it like kind of less awkward, we would ask them if they knew anybody that could use the materials, and of course, yeah, they take it, and they always have a big smile on their face, so it's just kind of awesome.
When we passed out the outreach packs, people's reaction was really grateful, and they were all really happy that we were there, and a lot of them wanted to talk to us also, which was really cool.
When we kind of ran out of our packages, we kind of felt bad saying, I'm sorry, we're kind of left, or they'd be like, when are you coming back? And it would just be like, next week we're leaving, but another group would be coming, and it just kind of felt like you couldn't offer them enough. I feel like I will not make it by being able to just give back, because I feel so blessed with everything I got with you.
I believe that my biggest skill set involves working with electronics and like stuff like that, building, fixing things, engineering, that kind of thing. So it really felt like God was using my abilities to help other people in a really big way.
I love being able to know that I helped another God's planet, and you were involved more that God can use me for. And nowadays, so many people abuse it. And so this week, doing that task really helped me to know that we're cleaning up and making a difference in like the wildlife and the planet.
For using God's hands and when the church didn't do his work, it makes other people happy. Because I was helping out people who were in need, and I feel like that's what God would have done, because he always helped people out in need.
Jesus really emphasizes helping our neighbors out, because I felt like that was really like God's work on our hands. Church, we learned that creative place always belongs, and I think we did that in Charlie's place, because we kind of accepted them, we gave them food, and gave them conversation and clothing, and we didn't leave them out or anything, we let everyone come in.
I feel like we live in our faith in Charlie's place by just listening to people, because they did have a lot to share and a lot to teach us. And I feel like they don't usually have a group of kids or high schoolers come in and are able to talk to that group of people.
And I feel like a lot of the time, we as Christians like to correct other people and put our ideas in. And I feel like I kind of gave him more respect. And I think he appreciated that.
What God wants us to do is we're supposed to share our faith with people, and if we can share our faith by being happy and willing to listen, it's a lot better. So I try to do that more than that's good.
One of the greatest things I learned from this trip was how easy it was to do things that help other people. Like, they're easy to find.
There's a lot of poverty in the world that I didn't even realize. And just simple things like packing socks and stuff in a Ziploc bag can make a really big difference in someone's life.
One of the most important things we learned on the tour was really affordable housing and how important it is to have affordable housing for any city.
The thing that has left the biggest impression on me is that I learned that the main reason for homelessness is unaffordable housing. Like, I didn't know that before.
I guess I hadn't really realized how much money it actually takes to live and to buy food for a family. So
I feel like something that had a huge impact on this trip was just realizing how similar we all are. I mean, I used to see them on the streets and I thought that we're so different, but we're really the same.
See the new perspective. Homeless people are not actually as bad as you think they are. They may seem dirty and people that you don't want to be near at all, but they're actually they're friendly. Most people are, and they just want your help.
I think a lot of people, when they think of homeless people, they think of like high school dropouts or people who got addicted to crack or something, but it really surprised me that Candi and other people talk about how people with educations and lucrative jobs ended up on the streets.
One of the things that I noticed that really made an impact on me was seeing the dedication of the leaders of the science student guy. One of the leaders at Shepard Parkway, he was just really dedicated, just writing and worked on his project for multiple years. And there was still so much trash, and it just made me like put things in perspective.
I learned that even if it seems like there is no one listening to you, there will always be someone there to help you get along. Just God will always be there for you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will say this again before we're done today, but really, thank you. All of these stories that you hear these students telling aren't possible without the support that we get from all of you financially and with your prayers and raising up these kids together in this place. So thank you for your part in that. Like I've shared, we have a special guest with us this morning. Her name is Candi Darley. You heard some of the kids speak about her. She also shared some of her story in worship this morning. And what I've asked her to speak about for just a few minutes here is what it was like to experience being homeless for 7 years. If you haven't been to worship yet, you'll hear more of her story at the 11 o'clock service. All right. Come on up, Candi. Candi has, I will let you, Candi, tell me where it is that you are living now and the organizations that you serve through. So, take it
Can you
away.
hear me?
All right, great.
I'm in permanent supportive housing now, in a really great place. And I want to tell you a quick story of the organization that helped me. Through Friendship Place, which is an organization in DC, they got a voucher from Neighbors First. And Neighbors First is a Christian organization I had no idea about it. But real quick, let me tell you how this got to be. There was a group of young people who were interning at a gentleman, he's a millionaire, that started Neighbors First. And what happened was they asked a question, and they were surveying the homeless shelters in New York. And they said, well, how much does it cost to house 100 souls in a New York shelter? Now, I know there are thousands, tens of thousands actually in the shelter. But when the figures came back, they couldn't believe it. Now, they asked because these case managers, they use light, they use water, so they took all of these things into account. And it cost $10 million, and this was in 2000. It cost $10 million to house 100 individuals in a New York City shelter. They couldn't believe it, so they went and they did some math. And they said, you know, if you put these individuals into their own apartments, give them their keys, and give them case management services, you could do this for about $2 million. And when these monies were we'll give you $2 million, it'll save us 8, and let's see what you can do with it. So they did that, and this is what happened. Children, we were, and of course there's a lot of children involved. Children did better in school, people who were sick got a lot better. Even people who were terminally ill died with dignity and pride, just so much better than they had been on the streets or in a shelter. When this worked out so well, they said, we're going to give you more money. Take this to places in the United States where there's a high homelessness rate, DC being one of them, because we have 300 million people in the United States and 1% are homeless. That's 3 million and way too many. So they took it to the high demographic areas of individuals who were homeless, and DC being one of them. It worked so well. I mean, and it was amazing to me that the powers that be didn't realize that we had your own home, you had dignity. Duh! And so the experimental phase was one which lasted about maybe 2 or 3 years, and they implemented it as a program. When I signed up for this program, I had no idea what it was. It was my most pessimistic day. I was pouting, didn't want to do it, but God is amazing. And I'm here to tell you, don't block your own blessings, because I almost had. And so I filled out the application, and I didn't even know what it was about. I phone call a week later, okay, with a gentleman saying, I have an apartment here. I had no idea what he was talking about, you know? It had been so long, I was like, what? And I started crying so profusely in that quick amount of time. They looked at my application, and they said, this woman is sick, and she has a child. Let's get her into the place quickly. And they treated me so well, they were condescending. It was like I had hired a realtor to find me the best places in DC. And so once I got the place, I said, well, how do I do this? Pots and pans? I mean, I knew my family would contribute, but I kind of wanted to do it on my own. They took care of everything. And I was so enamored by the innovative way and style that this was done that I pursued them, and I am now the Washington, D.C. president of Neighbors First. And I not only go around and speak, but I actively work to get people into housing. I'm so proud of that, so happy that programs like this exist, that whenever I speak to our youth, I tell them our world is changing. Whatever you do it for the betterment of your fellow man. We are our brother's keepers. You know, and I try to gear them and push them towards whatever their careers would be, to be one that would help out, because the innovation of the youngsters that work for Neighbors First is what is giving people housing. The big government programs aren't. And I'm just so thrilled about it, and I'm just so happy about it. And people all ask me after I tell my story, 7 odd years of homelessness is not a joke. And a lot of us creatures would happen. I've seen people take sheets off the bed and put them on the floor and go to sleep. And I'm like, what's up? There's a perfectly good bed. This one lady had been on the street for 25 years, and she was so used to sleeping on hard surfaces that sleeping on a bed was like falling to her. She could never sleep on a bed before. Can you imagine that not having a bed, you have become so accustomed to things like hard surfaces, concrete, and benches, and so forth. So I challenge everyone here to make a difference in some sort of way. Everything's changing. I challenge you to look in your hearts and see if maybe you can speak to someone differently, to uplift them, or the young people that are going into new careers to do something just a little differently to help out our land. It makes such a difference, because when one person prospers in the community, the entire community prospers. And when one person is happy, the entire community is happy. And God's blessings, it works that way. So I'm very happy to be here to tell you a little bit about that. And if there are any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Thank you.
I think we will take just maybe a few moments right now. If anyone, while we have you up here in the front, has questions for Candi that they would like to ask?
Nothing's off limits. You can ask me anything.
I been around town with this woman all weekend, and she will talk to anything about it.
Yes, seriously. My son is so embarrassed. Mom talking. Yeah.
So, questions for Candi?
Candi, Rochester, the last about 5 years, Rochester's started to get a lot of people panhandling, and it's a challenge for some of us to want to be helpful, but at the same time, we know there are other organizations you can give your money to better. How do you personally feel when you see people like that?
I understand that totally, that question a lot. Now when I see people, and this is such a large homeless population, they don't know my background, they don't know that I was homeless. And I don't know if this is the same question you're asking me, meaning how do I feel about giving to them? This, I have an easy answer for that. When I have, I give. I don't care what they do with it, because my giving to them is between me and God. What they do with it is between them and God. Okay? I don't care what they write. That's not my concern, because my blessings are within my giving. I don't judge as to what they do with it. But if you have an issue with it, sometimes you can get like McDonald's gift cards and stuff like that, so you can control what the individual buys with it. And that makes you feel better if you have a problem with that. But it's not even just about a material thing. You give your love, and it's so much more important. People who are homeless don't speak to others for months at a time sometimes. I have a friend that said he hadn't spoken to people in so long, he was reading the newspaper and he laughed. And he looked around like, who was that? He hadn't heard his own voice. So lonely, because we're not in existence many times, especially when we sleep outside. You're so lonely, just saying love. And if someone, you say hello, they're so happy to speak to you. If someone says something, kind of awful, like, you're a deterred, me either, keep on walking, okay? Yes, I wouldn't let that deter you, but that is so important. So it's so much to give. My time, my space, my love, and sometimes something material and monetary. Yes.
Does the organization also provide some skill building?
Yes. Yes, she's asking, does the organization offer something to help build skills, correct? And that, yes, we have case management services wrap around and help in all areas. And the beautiful thing about the Neighbors First platform is that there are no criteria. Many other services, these people have to be clean sober, or they have to be this or that or whatever. No criteria. You get your home regardless, and then we work with you from your home. That starts off as something wonderful when someone has a key and jingles it. A key means so much to me now. Okay, a jingle of a key is just, ooh, it's like an angel got wings. Yeah, so that's, and then they look to the individual skill set to see what they can do. And even the individual might not have a chance to work or be a candidate for work. We have day programs and things like that. It's really, really good. I am enamored by it. I'm really surprised that this didn't happen earlier in the time ago. It's really helping a lot of people. Any questions? I have an 18-year-old son that was not, which was a heartbreak, seriously, to me. She had to do that because I had plans. I had planned out how I was going to raise this child and everything we were going to do, and so on, and it did not happen that way. So just in case anyone wants to know, he turned out absolutely wonderful. Okay, and that is God's doing. I pray that's the Lord. I have so many plans as God's going to raise him in your name, and now I've lost control. And that was a big part of my depression, losing control as far as how I was going to raise her. But again, innovation at that shelter, I was on the phone in the mornings, okay? Dude, do you have on your jacket? Do you have your umbrella? Daddy's a ding dong. Are you sure you have on? And when we came home from school, hey, did you say the prayers? Okay. The little boy tried to beat you up? Okay. We'll do homework. What's 1 plus 1? 11. Poor kids, you got your father. He's asking me that very smart, and that's God blessing us despite where our plans are. I think that is awesome.
Thank you, Candi.
Thank you all so much.
from one building to another, and a place called Man for Life.
What I did today was organize shirts by colors and size, and I felt like we had helped the community while at Man for Life, while we moved supplies down to the basement while they were remodeling.
Today, we played with the kids at the Freedom House, which is like a big house for families who are homeless to come and live in, and they get them, get them off the street and up on their own feet, and they have a nice street like percent rate, which is really, really cool for success. They got to play with kids today. It was really, really fun.
Today, we helped in a nursing home and nursing meeting with government, and it's really fun.
Like I said, it was like a village with Dan and some other people. It was actually a lot of fun. What I did today is I went to 2 different nursing homes and I got to meet lots of new people and it was really fun and I played some cribbage.
Today I connected with people who had been in domestic violence situations, and I was able to get to know more about them and what their situation was like, and I learned more about what domestic violence actually is.
It's the Golden Cares like home center thing, and I pulled weeds from the garden, and we slept the entire like rock pad. So today I went to the nursing home, and I got to pull weeds and play games and sing karaoke.
Okay, so today I went to Goodwill and we sorted out women's clothes and by color and size. And then in the afternoon we went to Man for Life and we sorted out donation clothes, and we also packaged cheese to give to the homeless or the people that need food.
So today we went to the Golden House, which is a place for domestic abuse. And it was really, really cool to see how excited people were to be there, and it was really interesting to see all the donations that came in.
I also went to the Golden House with Mel, and we also went to the Bay Beach Park, and at the end we gave our extra tickets to families, and that was really fun.
So today I went to Santa Maria, which is a nursing home, and met these awesome ladies, and then we went to McCormick and we played bingo with the assisted living.
I went to the Boys and Girls Club today, and I played Sharks and Guns with them. It was pretty fun.
Today I went to Golden Village nursing home, and we took out some bricks with food people donated, and we re-put them in. We tilled the grass, put like not the grass, the dirt, put sod in it. And that was really fun, seeing all the people who donated.
Today I went to McCormick retirement homes, and there we played bingo, and we got to have fun.
You gave your life to make a difference. You gave your life to make a change. You were
first just felt like, oh, we're just putting kids, and then I kind of thought about it, and it's just like, these kids could be like out on the street somewhere, like in a bad situation, hungry, and it's like really like sad thought, and it's kind of just like God led them to this place to get help and find a home.
So it's really, really cool to be able to like share something with them, something that will impact their life.
I lived out my faith today by being able to help the elderly and giving them somewhere where they can go outside and not just be cooped up in the basement.
How I lived out my faith today was just really spending lots of time with all of the elderly people, and it really made me happy to see them like laughing and having fun.
And today I lived out my faith by remembering what the overall goal of this service was and what I wanted to accomplish when I was doing those jobs. Today I lived out my faith by helping out with care packages and a couple other things being cleaned, and it was really interesting. I think my faith was heightened by how people just seemed to like it there. And there was a little boy, and he was so excited just to be played with, and he was laughing and happy, and he was really cute. So it's just really good to see that something really just little things that have a big impact on my faith and hopefully other.
Ways I lived out my faith was being open to new experiences and being very social and talking to
I think I lived out my faith today by just meeting new people and just having fun and making people laugh.
I lived out my faith by having fun with kids and making them laugh.
And I lived out my faith by helping someone and knowing that gardening isn't a high factor, but it helps a little.
How I lived out my faith was seeing humility with elderly people. And this week's theme is desirable, and I think I lived out my faith by making people feel like they were loved and cared for, and I learned a lot about myself while helping people feel better.
I would like to take a moment to ask any of the adult chaperones who are here that went on a trip this past summer to please stand. I know who you are, so I'll call you up by name. Okay, here's the thing. There are elders that are teaching Sunday school right now and serving in other ways. We cannot take youth on these trips without adults who are willing to take vacation time and to live in hot places and shower who knows where. And it's true. Oh, well, this is a good promo for later, I guess. But I could say with 100% certainty that they would all tell you that they would do it again in a heartbeat. Because the experiences that we have when we get to serve with the youth from this church are so powerful. Their faith is so real, and I would guess that all of these adults probably got more out of this trip than they feel they ever gave, and they gave a lot. So if you would just please join me in thanking these adults. Thank you. And thank you too. Every year we fundraise between $15,000 and $20,000 to be able to go on these mission trips. They're expensive, and we have families who have lots of expenses and kids, and the fundraising that we are able to do here through your help is really what makes all of these experiences happen. And so when we make those baptismal promises and you say that yes, we will help shape these kids, that is one of those important ways that you really are doing that. And so thank you for taking an important way. I want to turn and highlight a couple of things. I have a handout that I have put together, and I will ask some of my high school trip participants to pass these out at the doors when we're all done. But one of the things that that we have been really talking a lot about this year is creating a place for all to serve. And if you were here last week, you know that God can use little tiny hands and old hands and blue hands and green hands and all sorts of hands to do God's work. And so on the left at Summer this morning, on the very front you'll see Candi's picture, but you will also see ways that you can get involved and serve locally. You probably know that Summer is a part of the Interfaith Hospitality Network, where we host individuals who are homeless in our own community throughout the year. And we need more volunteers. We need people who are willing to be a part of an organization that reaches out to those in need in our own community. If you have been so moved and would like to be a part of that ministry, I would invite you to read a little bit about it on the front of the Life at Summer, but also to stop at the table in the Narthex this morning outside the lounge. Vicki Erickson and Debbie Schmaltz are our mission team coordinators, and they are there to answer any questions. There are a variety of ways that folks can help. And so if you would like to serve locally, please talk to one of them. I know there's a training which I think is actually tomorrow evening. We also will be collecting winter gear. We have a lot of kids in our community who will be cold once winter comes. And so if you have any gently used coats or hats or mittens around your house, there will be a tub out in the lounge or outside of the lounge for the next several weeks for you to bring those in. Mission trips are not just for youth. Several years ago, when I came home from one of the mission trips, I was sitting at the baseball field with a friend of mine who goes to Zumro and has kids my boys' ages who are elementary school, and she said, I can't wait until my kids are old enough so I can go on those trips too. And I thought, well, this is just plain crazy, because there are ways to serve all over the place. And so, for the past couple of years, I have done several intergenerational mission trips to Chicago. Some through here and some through Hosanna when I served there. And I have brought kids as young as going into the first grade along on these trips. And they were able to serve in big ways and learn a lot about what it means to live out faith. And so, on this handout that I will pass out as you're leaving, I would invite you to come along on a mission trip this summer. Give it a try. We will be returning to Chicago again over spring break, which for the Rochester Public School happens that last week in March and into the beginning of April. You'll see, and this information will be prepared for you. This is for people of all ages. You don't have to have kids. You don't have to be a kid. You could be retired and looking for something to do or a new way to serve. But I would invite you to come along on that trip. We also have another mission trip going to Yami Hospital in Tanzania this February or March sometime. This is for adults. We really need some adults who have medical background, but all adults are welcome to come with. This is one of the ways that we're continuing to deepen our relationship with this hospital. Bob and Sue Jenkins are right over here. Wave your hands, Bob and Sue. And they have been sort of spearheading all of the team the teams that have gone in the last couple of years. And so there's information about this upcoming trip. But if you have questions, really ask Bob or Sue or any of the folks who have gone before to Tanzania. Coming up next month, just along the way, there will be a high school MA break trip. We are going to go to Madison, serve with a variety of organizations, many like the places we served with in DC. So if you are in high school, or you are a parent of a high school, or you'd like to come along as a chaperone, know that trip is coming up, but the sign-up deadline is in just a couple of weeks. High school students will be returning to Robbins Nest Children's Home in Jamaica this summer. It's a fabulous, fabulous place that we have partnered with many times, and so high this summer. There will be an info meeting next month. There's a variety of adults and young adults and teenagers who have gone to Jamaica the last several years. So ask me or ask them if you're interested in that. And finally, how many middle school students do we have in here today? I see you kind of hiding. All right, so this summer, Pastor Shelley wants to take you to South Dakota. We've been to a lot of youth first sites. This is one that we have never been to before. It is near the Pine Ridge Reservation, and so there will be a variety of, you'll learn some about the Native American culture and serve in a variety of different ways through youth work. So know that that is coming up. All right, I am about to wrap it up, but I want to ask if there's any questions. We have maybe a minute or two. Questions about upcoming trips, places served here, or for anyone who went on these other summer trips. Good.
I just was on invite some of that I just want to mention that Food for Kids is coming in October, and so it is another opportunity that's for all ages, and we're filling packages of food, and some of that food went to Miami Hospital last March, and 20% of it stays in town. So October 12th, sign-ups in Summer.
Thank you, Cindy. Cindy is the chair of our mission and outreach team, and so ask her. She knows a lot about different mission experiences that are going on. How many of you have ever helped at Food for Kids before? It's lots of fun. It is a ton of fun, and the littlest of kids can help, and